Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and thanks for coming to the training. I'm Alexander Great, and as promised, I'll go through this training and give you some valuable trade show lead conversion secrets. So let's head into the tunnel. My promise to you is I'm going to show you how to triple the traffic to your booth and convert that traffic into qualified leads. If you stay with me to the end of the webinar, I've got a couple free bonuses for you. You're going to get the same checklist I use for my Fortune 500 clients to ensure they have a profitable trade show. And I'll throw in a free copy of my book, 25 Event Blunders and How to Avoid Them. So be sure and stay until the end, and I'll show you how to get those 2 free bonuses to at least start you in the right track to have a profitable trade show. Okay, before we roll up our sleeves and get rolling, just want to go over a couple house rules here. I'm going to go through this really quickly, guys, so give me your full attention. I need you to turn off your cell phones, Facebook, any other distractions, because if you're a trade show exhibitor and you're serious about getting better results, the next 45 minutes will change your entire approach to marketing your trade show. All right, who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Alexander Great. I have a degree in marketing and business administration from the University of Southern California. I've spent the last 20 years as a corporate meeting and trade show consultant. I'm the author of the book, 25 Event Blunders and How to Avoid Them. And I've worked with hundreds of companies such as Fox, Medtronic, Michibag, CBS, Extreme Networks, Princess Cruises, St. John Knits, and Disney, just to name a few. Now, one of the interesting facts about me that isn't really relative to the training is, and when people find this out for some reason, they find it intriguing. When I was in my early 20s, I appeared in an episode of Fox's VR Troopers, which is a spin-off of Power Rangers, as the evil overlord. So I think that credit alone more than qualifies me to show you trade show lead conversion secrets, okay? Kidding. All right, let's get started. Imagine what your ROI would look like when you have all the traffic and qualified leads you could ever want. You never have to worry about not seeing an ROI in a trade show ever again. What would your trade show investment be like when you knew how to increase booth engagement and generate qualified leads that want and need your help? What if I could show you how to pick the right giveaway items that generate the right kind of traffic to your booth? Do you think these secrets would make a difference for you and your company? Now, before we go any further, I just want you to know that the results I'm going to show you are not typical. I kind of have to say that. I'll walk you through the system I'm using to get great results for my clients all the time. But please understand that my results are not typical because the average company who attends any training gets 0 results. Why? Because they do nothing. You have to understand 95% of people do nothing at all. If you look at that like a bell curve, that kind of brings the average way down, doesn't it? But God forbid you should make your decisions based on what most people do. 95% of people take no action at all. So I'm happy to share with you what I'm doing for free. This is exactly what's working for me and my clients right now. This is not for traditionalists, though, or people who are not open to out-of-the-box approaches or people who are stuck in old-school thinking. So here's what we'll cover today if you're ready to look at some new approaches. Secret number 1, a little-known promotional item tweak that will turn your giveaways into selling machines. Secret number 2, with the right kind of booth program, trade show attendees will not only remember you, but talk about you to all of their friends and associates. And secret number 3, how to dedicate 10% of your booth space to specialized lead magnets that triple your lead count. So let's get started with secret number 1, a little-known promotional item tweak that will turn your giveaways into selling machines. I'll show you how to pick the right giveaway items that generate leads for your company long after the event is over. Pretty important, wouldn't you say? You see, most trade show exhibitors think the best way to generate leads is to just give away promotional items. Tchotchke is what they call this in the trade show floor. Just give it away, tons of it, barrels of it. And while you may collect contact information from people this way, they're not leads. They're people wanting free stuff, at least most of them. See, most companies look at this like a numbers game. They figure, hey, if I get 1,000 people to come to my booth and 900 aren't interested, I got 100 that are somewhat interested. But what if there was a way to have a promotional item that continuously broadcasted your message to the world when they took it away? What do I mean? Okay, let's take a look at some of the traditional giveaway items and why I think they should change. I knew one company that gave away chapstick. Yeah, chapstick. I don't know why. It had nothing to do with their product, but they gave away chapstick. Another company, an IT company, gave away apples. Not the computer, the fruit. Why? That's because that's just what they did every year. I mean, I've seen other stuff. There's pens with the logo on it, pads, calendars, flash drives, key rings, microfiber cleaning cloths. You get the idea. So let me ask you guys, what's the one thing that all of these have in common? Go ahead and just put it in the message box. Let's see what kind of answers we get. Okay. I'll just wait a few minutes. Good. Couple people chiming in. Not quite getting the answer I'm looking for. Let me just go ahead and tell you guys what it is. The answer is all of these items are one-to-one. Okay? They're personal items. You know what I mean? Like an apple, they eat it. That's it. End of story. A key ring, they put their keys on it, they start their car, they go home. Wouldn't it be better to give away items that are used publicly? What do I mean? Well, let's take, for instance, on my desk right here, I have my cell phone just kind of sitting here. What if this was in a cell phone case and your logo was on the back of it? Your company on the back of the cell phone case. What about a cell phone stand? See, my phone right now is just lying here, but what if it was in a stand with your logo printed on the back of the stand? These are inexpensive ways that you could give your product away. I mean, give the lead magnet away, but you're also giving away your message of your company or your slogan and broadcasting it the whole time. You could do this with wallets. Wallets can have logos on them. Sunglasses, water bottles, of course, the ever popular since high school. T-shirts. There's tablet cases, umbrellas, beach towels, a portable ice bucket, the collapsible foil insulated kind, not the plastic one. But your logo could be on it. And these are inexpensive, and people will take them and use them. And every time they use them, of course, they're seeing your company and thinking of you. These are great giveaway items because people will think of you as long as your logo's on the side of them. But see, these are one-to-many. It's better than one-to-one because they broadcast your message. For example, the portable ice bucket, everybody at the beach, they're going to see on the side. It's going to say Tandoor Solutions right on the side. Or USA Today, whatever your product is, it'll be broadcasted the whole time. Don't make your promotional items an afterthought. Don't think of the cheapest way to grab contact info because the lead you get could be unqualified. So that's the first secret. And hopefully that will inspire some of you to, get the brains percolating a little bit and come up with some creative ideas for your company. All right, secret number 2. With the right kind of booth program, trade show attendees will not only remember you, but talk about you to all of their friends and associates. So you want people to not just have the item with your logo on it, but them to talk about your company or what you do. So let's go over what we're going to learn here, okay? It's all about getting them to remember you for months and months after the trade show. Most trade show exhibitors think that to maximize ROI, I have to convert them right away or they'll forget about my company. But actually, with the right kind of booth program, trade show attendees will not only remember you, but talk about you to all of their friends and associates. What do I mean? Okay, depending on the kind of trade show you go to, it could be just a representative from the company or people just tire kicking. It could be a situation that they're still 6 months to a year away from buying. And that's the time you want to plant your company name into their minds so that when they do hit that buying cycle, they are ready to buy and they buy from you. I want to look at a few things that companies do that fails to create trade show booth excitement. Number 1, a sparse booth. They don't put a lot of thought into the booth. Maybe just a table banner, a couple of board sales associates stood there and they wonder why they don't get a lot of leads. Well, the next reason, there's no dynamic engagement. Very important to connect with those attendees because they're all potential sales. These are people, this could be a $60,000 sale depending on your product. There are looky-loos, but A company that does not put a lot of thought into the first impression, which tie the first two together. Unless you're, Canon or Microsoft, this is the first time they're hearing about your company. What impression do you want them to have? They don't put their booth staff through specialized training at a trade show. This is a big problem. They throw family and friends in there, or they get the HR manager to, hey, you go run the trade show. And if you want to maximize traffic, then you've got to put your staff through training to work that booth and engage. Not just collect a lot of contacts, but engage with the potential contacts. The next faux pas, decor or colors that don't stand out from the rest of the exhibitors. I see this all the time, and it's real important if you're in a middle aisle and don't have that corner booth that's so hard to get and, is much more expensive real estate. You want to find out what's on either side of you so you can stand out from them, look different, contrasting colors, unique decor, so that when people walk by, they say, wow, what's this company all about? And they walk up and find out. Very important. Most companies, unless you're Sony or Microsoft, don't have the specific protocols in place for suspects, leads, or prospects. Most booths have no funnel. It's just, hey, give me your contact information, get a free gift, if that. But, looky-loos don't want to devote a lot of time to you, and you don't want to devote a lot of time to them. You want to differentiate between who's a serious buyer and who's not. Well, you've got to train your sales staff on how to find that out. Who's serious? What questions do they ask? Qualifying questions. People that express interest in your product, you want to devote a lot of time to them. And my personal pet peeve, cell phones being used in the booth. And unless they're scanning badge, and that's a new thing, badge scans are done through people's cell phones, but sitting there playing Angry Birds or texting, horrible. There's nothing worse than walking down an aisle and seeing the booth staff staring down at their cell phones, and what happens? People just walk right on by. And I see this all the time. Now, let me give you some great examples of booths I've worked with. And these are really, like we were talking about in the beginning, out-of-the-box thinking. We have one client that licenses band names. Actually, he licenses all kinds of names, but how do you promote that? Well, we had them place photos of rock stars on big banners that look like driver's licenses. Okay, get your band license here. Now imagine this from a distance, a big driver's license with Britney Spears' picture on it, or Aerosmith hanging right down from the ceiling. You're going to get that concept. Hey, they sell band licenses. As a musician, and there's a license, and then you can find out about all their other branding when you come up close. Now, another client created Chroma software for photographers. Now, if you don't know what that is, Chroma software helps photographers who shoot things in front of a green screen. And later, what they do is they take that green away and put their subject in a deserted island or downtown New York or even the moon. This is software that automatically does that for them. So in order to help them stand out, we covered the entire booth in green. Tables, walls, floors, pens, green shirts, even the shoes. Everything was green except for a big photo of a camera with their logo, which was in full color. Photographers, which is their target, see this and they get it right away. They want more information. Plenty of other people there selling Chroma, one booth doing it this way. Very important. Now you may be thinking, these are exciting products, but we have a pretty plain Jane product. Well, let me show you my next example. You don't get much more ordinary or boring than hearing aids, right? I mean, they're very difficult to promote. Now, let me tell you what we did for a hearing aid client. This was a hearing aid company. We created a theme within the booth. We divided the booth in half, okay? And one side of the booth was completely empty and deserted with a black and white sign that said, "The world without hearing," right? The other side of the booth, we had a big full-color sign that said, "The world with hearing." Now that alone gets the message across, doesn't it? But we didn't stop there. We found a company that specializes in focused directional speakers. Now these speakers are able to focus sound within an inch. So we placed these speakers on the floor on the full color side and had them playing a symphony orchestra. I think it was Mozart's or Beethoven. I think it was Mozart actually, but anyway, whatever it was, An attendee walked by and heard the symphony playing for 5 seconds or so, and then came to the other side of the booth, silence. As they looked over, they saw the black and white sign saying "The World Without Hearing." They took a step back, heard the symphony again. It said "The World with Hearing." Take a step forward, silence again. That little trick increased their booth engagement by 80%. And the client loved it. Lots of other companies selling hearing aids at that trade show. Only one getting that kind of booth engagement. Could you do something like this with your product? Maybe you should rethink your booth conception. There's lots of creative ideas. All right, let's move on to secret number 3. And that is to dedicate 10% of your booth space to specialized lead magnets and triple your booth engagement. How do you broadcast your company message so trade show attendees know what your company is about before they talk to you and your sales staff? Well, one of the ways is the example I just gave. The best way is to have a specialized lead magnet inside the booth. But most trade show exhibitors think that driving specialized traffic will cost a fortune. Actually, it won't. You only need 10% of your booth space. What do I mean? We had a CrossFit equipment builder client, and they manufacture fitness equipment for cross training and working out, and they're doing a lot of trade shows. Much too expensive to travel with what their product is. I mean, 45-pound plates, bars, things like that. So what we created was a strongman contest. Most of you have been to a carnival and you've seen that thing where you hit the rubber button with the big mallet and the thermometer has a little ping that goes up, and if you hit the top, depending on how high you go, you win prizes. Well, all of our prizes were gym related. Sweatbands, water bottles, towels, and they wore it like a badge of honor. I scored 30, I scored 45, and of course, all of these promotional items branded the logo of our client. Very, very good promotional item and great lead magnet. Another example, great lead magnet, was an upscale clothing manufacturer. Now, from a distance, if you're imagining a clothing show like Magic that happens in Las Vegas, from a distance, all suits kind of look the same, right? When you're dealing in apparel, it's a very difficult concept to get across. So they needed their product to stand out, which was suits for men. So what we did was we hired a tailor and we stuck him right in the middle of the booth. Now, he measured one lucky person every hour for a tailored suit. So if you were interested, you'd enter your contact info, and once an hour it would be randomly text one lucky person to come to the booth, get measured, and have a suit professionally manufactured and sent to them at home when it was completed. The great thing about this was we obtained full contact information for everyone, and the company was able to market to them for the next 2 years after this event. I'd say that was well worth it. Can you imagine their ROI? This alone quadrupled their qualified leads. Lots of other booths promoting suits at that show, only one getting that kind of lead conversion. Now, another example is Oculus Rift. Now, disclaimer here, I'm not affiliated with them, although I'd like to be. I just find it to be an amazing example, and I wanted to mention it here. Oculus Rift is a virtual reality company. So you wear this virtual reality helmet and you're transported to these different worlds. In fact, Facebook just purchased them a year ago for a couple of $1 billion. You can't live on that, but it's a good start. Their lead magnet was their actual product because it's so innovative and interesting. And they had one of their VR helmets in their booth. Attendees could come up, try it on, and they had lines around the booth twice. Just snaking lines, just waiting to try on the helmet, the product. The great thing about this was you're only going to get people who are truly interested in virtual reality. And the people not interested will move on. So it sifts and sorts beautifully. And of course, before they tried the helmet, they had to enter their full contact information into a bank, a little database, and the Oculus Rift client account supervisor could follow up with them later and try to sell them their product. The leads they got were so amazingly qualified that their ROA was through the roof, I'm told. Hopefully, you and your company can figure out some kind of lead magnet to put into your booth, such as this. Having a great team is one thing, but having a lead magnet is a whole new level. So let's get inspired by some of these examples, okay? Think about your product. Think about how it would fit into this. How are you all liking the training so far? Okay, so let's go over everything we've covered so far. Secret number 1, a little known promotional item tweak that will turn your giveaways into selling machines. Secret number 2, with the right kind of booth program, trade show attendees will not only remember you, but talk about you to all of their friends and associates. Secret number 3, dedicating 10% of your booth space to specialized lead magnets and tripling your booth engagement. So who wants to take things to the next level? If that's you, type "I'm ready" in the box, okay? Okay, several of you. Ron P. in Utah says, bring it. All right, Ron. Cool. This is next level stuff here, guys. We're going to go deep. Any business that wants to be big, pay attention. As my business started to grow, I faced a new problem. See, I started getting calls from smaller companies wanting my help, and I wasn't really set up for that. You see, while it was somewhat easy to design booth programs for companies like Microsoft and Disney, who have the millions to spend, it becomes increasingly challenging to create a successful program for a small company with budgetary concerns. And I wanted a complete trade show marketing and lead generating system, one that any company could afford and implement. So I worked at this for years, but couldn't figure it out because I wanted it to be systematized, not just some new gimmick or idea. Not like a booth designer, there's already hundreds of those. So I had an epiphany about 10 or 11 years ago. It came to me when I was on 3rd Street Promenade. Now, for those of you who don't know where that is, it's a street in Santa Monica, California, where tourists shop, and at night they have street performers. It's fun. And I saw something there that made the light bulb just go off in my head. I watched this street performer who had several hundred people around him. I looked at this and thought to myself, hey, he's drawing big crowds. That's what every trade show exhibitor wants. So if I could find a way to take the concept of a street performer and reverse engineer it and apply it to the trade show booth, I'd have a winner. But I'd have to make it universal and affordable for almost every company. I mean, I couldn't really implement street performers. That's crazy. So problem number 1, most performers need a lot of space. Dancers, jugglers, musicians, they all need space, like 20 feet of space, I think. And if you're in a 10 by 20, that's the whole booth. Problem number 2, most performers aren't really corporate friendly. You know, they're sometimes dirty or grimy. Sorry to say, but I mean, who wants this guy showing up at their booth, right? Not your corporate image, I would guess. Now, I knew the idea had potential, but see, now, I wanted any company to have a strong lead magnet, just like Microsoft, Sony, or Samsung, without spending the Microsoft, Sony, or Samsung dollars. And I wanted to incorporate the company message into the lead magnet. I wanted it to have a professional appearance, take up only 10% of booth space, that's my rule, and a promotional item that could meet all of these criterias like we discussed earlier. So I started searching. I searched comedians. They work best in dimly lit spaces, plus comedy's kind of a nighttime thing. On this one cruise ship, they had a comedy brunch, which was horrific. You know, people trying to eat and comedians trying to do blue material. Not a good idea. Comedy's a night thing. Acrobats and dancers, they need too much room. Animal trainers, a nightmare to travel with, and there are certain restrictions from trade show management. Musicians, cool concept, but they need a lot of space and it's hard for them to convey the message, and they're loud. But all of these people draw massive crowds, but I wanted one that could be a professional salesperson. Great with crowds like a keynote speaker, relatable with attendees, understanding the importance of getting the right kind of qualified traffic and leads, understanding the product, has a passion for helping clients to succeed, has experience in the world of trade shows. And the more I thought about this, I said, well, this sounds a lot like me. Now remember, at the beginning of this training, I told you that I appeared in an episode of VR Troopers as the evil overlord. Well, that's only partially true. I was the evil overlord with magic powers.
In a trade show, it's really hard to get people to stop by your booth. They're walking by really fast. So the intention to have Alex in our booth was to get people to pause long enough for us to get a chance to see who they are, what they do, give them some information about our products.
The reason that we do these trade shows is to generate leads and new customers and sell solutions and products. And the hardest part about doing that is actually getting in contact with customers. Alex has done a great job at building a crowd, incorporating our solutions into his tricks, his events, allowing us an opportunity to actually look at their badges, see who they are, where they're from, and then at the end of the presentation be able to have that one-on-one connection with the customers and the crowds that he's actually generated.
It was absolutely unique how Alexander made his tricks work towards our industry. We're nuts and bolts and screws, and so he used washers and nuts to do his tricks and geared it toward an industry, and it was fantastic. And we really enjoyed it.
We had Alexander do our entertainment for our annual meeting tonight, and it was absolutely fantastic. He made us think, he made us wonder, he made us try to figure out how he'd done things, but his sleight of hand and illusions was fantastic. Thank you, Alexander.
I'm the man with the magic. They're the men with the solutions.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's very amazing. Well done.
All right. No way.
Yes. Awesome.
I performed magic on that show, and I was a professional magician performing all over the world, including China, Egypt, and Germany, 20 other countries. I've appeared on numerous television shows. I was hired by celebrities like Jeff Goldblum and Olivia Newton-John just to perform at their exclusive parties. And I've had years of trade show consulting experience. So I can take a customized keynote that I would do and then add magic to it to gather crowds. I really think I'm onto something here. This is going to be my ultimate trade show marketing system, a universal but custom approach that works for any company. So let me show you how this works and why it's going to be so amazing for you. First, I customize the script, showcasing your company and your message in my presentation, just like I do in a keynote. In fact, just last week I had a company call me and they said, Alexander, can you take your time management keynote that you did for us and customize it for our corporation? So I took all the elements of my time management keynote, but plugged the personal information about the company. I'm used to doing things like that. What that does for your company is it gives them a specific kind of presentation that's customized for the event. The second thing I'm going to do is be at your booth the entire day presenting your brand and your company to the trade show attendees. I'll also bring a professional sound system because trust me, when I gather 75 to 100 people around your booth, you want to make sure they hear me. And more importantly, hear your company message. So the system's almost complete, but it's lacking one thing. I had to come up with the ultimate promotional giveaway. Now this plagued me for a few months, but once I came up with it, companies loved it. We created an easy-to-learn magic effect with your logo on it. Small enough for attendees to carry around in their pocket. They've got the built-in lead magnet to drive traffic to your website, and it's a public giveaway, so they will show it to everyone. And who doesn't love magic, right? They'll carry this around, they'll show it to all their associates and friends, and every time they perform this easy-to-do magic trick, your logo will be right there, smack dab in front of them. And in front of everyone watching. It's a conversation starter. They're going to say, hey, where'd you get that? Where'd you learn that? Oh, booth 645, IP Solutions. They had this magician there. It's a great company. The feedback has been great on these. In fact, I get calls from CEOs sometimes saying, hey, Alexander, any way I can get 500 more of those giveaways because we want to put them in our Christmas cards that we send out this year. That's how much companies love these giveaways. We have a question from Ken B. in Baltimore. How is it a built-in lead magnet and how does it drive traffic to my website? Okay, good question. Thank you. All right. Listen, every time this is done, people see it. But also, every one of these items has basic instructions that come with it on how to do the trick, right? Well, in those instructions, there's a link to a page on your website with a video. Imagine this, showing them exactly how to do the trick, plus bonus information about your company that you want them to know. They'll go through it, They'll learn it and they'll get the information. And see, we're driving people to your website. What other promotional giveaway does that? Almost none. What's more, we produce the video for you. This is an all done for you system. So, let's talk about what you're going to get. And at a substantial discount if you stay with me. You're getting the customized script showcasing the benefits of the company through the performance. I scour your website and I write a script. This has a $2,000 value. You're getting the professional sound system. This is worth $1,500 and at $500 per day based on a 3-day trade show that I work, that's very valuable. Also, you're going to get 500 giveaways, these promotional magic trick giveaways that people will carry around and use all the time, that drive people to your website, don't forget. That's a $1,000 value. You're also going to get a customized video that drives traffic to your website. If you've priced videos lately, you know that this could easily cost about $3,500. And most important, you're going to get me at your booth, standing there, broadcasting, performing, and engaging the trade show attendees. This is worth $15,000 or a $5,000 per day value. Total value, $23,000. But you're not going to pay that because you're with me on this training. Not only am I going to give it to you at a substantial discount, I'm also going to throw in a few bonuses. I'll give you 500 more giveaways. That's a $1,000 value. Plus, bonus number 2, I'll customize one magical effect just for your company. Imagine this. This is different than writing a script. Companies ask me all the time, hey, Alexander, is there any way that you could make our product appear or levitate? And of course, the answer is yes, but it takes a considerable amount of time, and I charge about $2,500 to create that effect for them. You're going to get it for free. Imagine your product levitating or disappearing, reappearing, multiplying. I'll come up with something for your product. Bonus number 3, 30 minutes booth engagement strategy session. That's with me on the phone. We'll brainstorm together the best ways to maximize your ROI in a booth. And as you can tell so far from the passion I have, I take this training very seriously. I take these brainstorming sessions even more seriously. You know that this is going to be a great session for you, and that's got a $500 value. So, what are you going to get? Again, the customized script showing the benefits of the company through the performance, $2,000 value. Professional sound system, $1,500 value. Customized video that promotes your trade show, booth all across all your social media networks, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, $3,500 value. Plus 500 giveaways that people will carry around and use all the time. Me at the booth, broadcasting and engaging the trade show attendees, $15,000 value, plus 500 more giveaways that you can do whatever you want with. Send them away as holiday cards, give them to your friends, plus I'll customize one magical effect just for your company, $2,500 value. My consultation brainstorming session of 30 minutes over the phone with you, $500 value. Total value, $27,000. But you're not going to pay that. Before I tell you the price, remember that there's only one of me. So the minute someone hires me for a particular trade show, those dates are locked. I can't be hired again. So the first company that calls me and we work out our deal and I'm hired, those dates are locked down for them. How much will you pay? I hope you're bracing yourself. $6,800. $6,800 for all of this. So you have two choices. This is the way it is. I had two choices when I was putting together this package. The first choice is, well, I could make it really cheap and charge like $3,000, try to upsell you on the giveaways and the custom video. I could even train some college kids to cut down my cost. That was an option, okay? The problem with that is that I can't really put in the time, the effort, and the resources to really serve you like I want to serve you. So instead of selling multiple packages with inexperienced people at the same trade show, what I decided to do is to help you because I wanted to give you more personal attention. It's just a quality thing with me. I decided to charge a little more. I decided to charge $6,800. That way it justifies me spending more time and effort for you. I'm guessing for most of you watching, you'd probably rather have a little more effort from me, right? Okay, so that's why I decided to charge a little more for what I'm selling. So the choices right now, you've got two choices. Choice one, you can invest, go ahead and get started. Choice two, you can end this webinar right now, finish where you are, go on to your next trade show and do exactly the same thing you did last year. Now you've got to decide on which choice is more exciting. Which one do you want for your company? Do you want to go back to exactly the way things happened last year? I'm guessing not. Otherwise, why would you watch the training all the way to this point? You're trying to maximize ROI for the trade show. Now, you showed up at this training. You needed help. So you've got these two choices. Either let's get you the help you need, let's fix this, or go back and keep doing what you've always done. I don't know about you, but that second option never makes me happy. That's why I want to help you right now, okay? So if this is interesting to you, please push the button on the bottom of the screen or send me an email. Go ahead and email me because the first come is the first served. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Gus asks, I sell insurance. Will this help me? Well, Gus, yes. As long as you do trade shows. I mean, recently we did the Credit Congress show at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. You're probably represented there or at least attend it. And magic tends to really stand out at a show like that. I mean, it certainly did there because unless you're in a business that doesn't need more leads, and quite frankly, I'd like to know what business that is, I can help you. See, what this really is a lead generation machine. I draw traffic to the booth like a magnet, and that's especially important when the product is dull, institutional, or God forbid, boring. Okay, not that your insurance is boring, Gus, but I mean, I think you'll have to admit when every other booth is selling insurance or insurance products, it tends to get kind of generic, plain, and vanilla, and blends in with all the other booths. And this is the area where I really shine, when I can make a booth like yours stand out. Just imagine having me there with a customized script. Remember, this is customized for your company, packing the booth, performing customized magic, emphasizing the key core concepts of your company, and bringing people to the booth. I mean, your leads are going to simply skyrocket. There's no other choice. Listen, I'd like to talk with you privately, Gus, so go ahead and click that button up there on the right of your screen. It'll email me, and we'll talk privately. I've got some great ideas for you. Okay, good. Another question here we have. Doug, is this training live? Yes, Gus, it's really happening in real time. See that? That's really me on the screen, just in case any of you are wondering. So any of you that were deterred by that, there you go. Okay, we have a question here from Rob. Once you've captured the lead, how do you convert that lead? Well, it kind of speaks to what I just talked about lead generation, but honestly, this, Rob, is beyond the scope of this training. You should get some products that teach you how to build a funnel and a lead bank and follow-up touch points, all those kinds of things. Go ahead and email me. Click the button up there on the right of your screen. I'll recommend some great resources for you on that. But yeah, you definitely want to get that in place. I mean, I'll get you the leads, but after that, you'll have to do the work to convert them. I mean, you build a funnel. Once somebody comes in that funnel, you give them a free trial. So it's now an enhanced lead. You follow me? And you have permission to convert them into a customer, drive them online, see a video-assisted sales letter, or a webinar like I'm doing right now. So let's talk about that. Okay, Sunil asks, is this company going to work for Indian companies? I live in Bangalore. Well, first, Sunil, nice to have you here. Yes, it will work for Indian companies, but my question to you is, where is your trade show? Or more specifically, what language is spoken at the trade show? Because if you do trade shows in the US, England, or Australia, I can certainly draw traffic to your booth. However, as you can probably tell, I don't speak Hindi. or too many other languages. I speak a few. And since the message is really the most important ingredient in all of this, the audience obviously has to understand me. So click the box on the right and tell me where you do business and where you do trade shows, and then we'll figure out what you need. Okay? All right, I see the emails keep coming in. We're getting more and more questions. I'm going to have to get on these. I'll answer them in the order received, guys, just so you know. So first come, first serve, because I want to be fair. I don't know if I'll get to all the questions on the webinar, but Earl asks, you help these companies collect full contact information at the booth. Why not just get their email? Safety in numbers, basically, Earl. I mean, an email's great, but what if you want to send them something? What if you want to know where they are geographically? To make every marketing option available to you, that's basically why. I mean, you want to be able to market to them online and offline. Even simple dirt cheap postcards done properly saying, hey, come to booth 343 this year at the yacht show, you'll meet Miss Boating and get a free sailor cap, etc. That has very, very powerful effects for months after the trade show. So I hope that answers that. Fred asks, you talk about a lead magnet. What exactly is a lead magnet? Okay, Fred, I covered it in the training. I don't know if you came in late, but in short, it's a promotional item. So, I mean, if you allow people who are on the verge of acting to get in your boat, as it were, it's a giveaway to attract those people so they'll take action at a later date. Now, it's going to be structured to be appealing to them, so appealing to them that they would buy it anyway, but we're going to go ahead and give it to them for free in exchange for full contact info. And traditionally, this has been a free report, book, CD, DVD, newsletter, downloads, etc. I mean, I'm also one big living lead magnet at the booth drawing people in. So that's essentially what it is or has been. Okay? Any other questions? Let's get them. Okay, here we go. David asks, this all looks good, but I'm not the decision maker. I want my boss to see this. How can I show it to him? Okay, fortunately, you can replay this webinar for your boss, and I recommend you do that because he should really be on this training with you. But you'll get an email after this, and it'll show you exactly how to do that. So yeah, definitely show him this, and then contact me. I'd like to talk with him. Okay, Ken asks, we do a booth every year at CES. That's Consumer Electronics Show, for those of you that don't know. And for this show, we have always invested in a static display. Is what you're offering better than a static display? Can a static display waiting for people to just drop by lacks the sufficient impact to achieve maximum booth effectiveness? Here's a fact. Statistics reflect that an energized presentation can triple, even quadruple, the lead count produced by a static display or even a demonstration. So by securing my services, show visitors drop by and their physical guard comes down and they're more receptive to hearing your message. Plus, attendees will talk about my program at your booth, which will bring even more people over to the booth, and it's a cyclical effect. And Ken, a simple stroll through any trade show, as I'm sure you've done, will reveal many stale, run-of-the-mill static displays that don't earn their keep. It's about ROI. Besides, displays don't talk. I talk. I deliver the message. Also, what do you do with this static display when the show's done? You throw it away. I mean, all that expense and investment just thrown in the garbage seems like a waste to me. So, Ken, push that button up there on the right. Let's talk. Take your game to another level. Give me 200 leads. I'll get you 400 this year. Okay? Okay, another question here from Karen. Hi, Karen. How many performances do you do in a day? See, I don't like to lock things in stone, but let me talk about something that I usually go over with people separately when we start booking the dates. I do two types of performances. One is called aisle view and one is called theater style. And that simply depends on the space restrictions of, are you in a 10 by 10 or a 20 by 60, a 40 by 60? It depends how much space you have. But I'll typically do 6 shows a day, to be quite honest. When do I start? I don't like set times because a trade show, as you know, is a living, breathing thing, and traffic patterns are Actually, they're very interesting because if you're deep in the hall and the hall doors open at, say, 9 o'clock, it'll take some time for those people to get over to your booth. Conversely, if you're right up front by the front doors, they'll come right in and probably pass your booth to kind of get a feel for the show. So there's all those considerations to take in. Also, there's lunch, high traffic, low traffic. So I generally get there before 9 a.m. because I want to set up. I want to set up my sound, check my sound. I want to see who's across from me and next to me. I want to meet the neighbors, let them know what's going to be going on. And I want to make an estimation as to what direction will deliver the best dominant traffic. You see, there's up aisles and down aisles. We don't need to get into all of that here, but like when you're on an arterial aisle, traffic flow is going to dominate from a single direction. It could be east to west or west to east. The same holds true for north and south. So that is something we can talk about at another time, but it's really important, to try to get as many shows in as we can that are effective. If there's 2 people there, I'm not going to bang out a show, of course, but I try to do one every hour. It might be every hour and a half. I don't perform usually around noon to 1 because everybody's off eating and it's not effective for you or for me. So Karen, I hope that answers that for you. Another question here. Bob asks, is this package set in stone or can you customize? Bob, I put this package together for 90% of my trade shows. It's the package that I do. Some companies only need me to come out for a day, and we can talk with you privately about that. But, you're getting me for the price I normally charge pretty much for the whole 3 days. So why would you just want 1 day? We have another question here. This is from Rob. Can you guarantee me this is worth the price? Yes, I'll double the leads you get. I'll double the leads that you got last year, Rob, or you don't pay. In fact, I'll probably triple them. But beyond that, the real question is ROI. Will you make up for the money you spend on the show on new customer acquisition? That's really the question you got to ask. Will you make up for it in increased revenue? And I ask you, what lead capture did you have in place last year? And what were the results of that? I'd like to talk with you more, so go ahead and push the button up there on the right. Let's talk. Okay. All right, this is from Dawn. We're in meetings for our trade show now, but it's not for 6 months. What should we be doing? Well, Dawn, you can reserve your date with me, but we won't really focus on a mainstream approach before you're at the halfway point now. So you should be thinking about other things like social media and promoting your show and letting people know about your booth, what your strategies are. You should be getting your goals in place. And then I can work with you, 2 or 3 months before the trade show about what message I'm going to deliver and what customized magic trick I'm going to do to convey that message. Okay? Here's a question here. Okay, this is a question from Amy. I just love David Blaine. What magic do you do? Well, there's some video that you saw in the training. Magic is just the vehicle, though, Amy, that I use. You see, this is not for entertainment. Okay? I want you to get that through your head. Entertainment happens. People will be entertained. But if it's entertainment, they can go out to any hotel in Las Vegas and see magic that has no message to it. This is about message. And see, the thing is, if you just stand there and deliver a static, dull message, nobody would stay. If you just did a straight magic show, everybody would stay and nobody would get the message. So this is the perfect marriage of those two worlds. I'm going to do just enough magic to draw them in. And when they're in, deliver the key core message points of your company. As they start to fade, I'll drop a little more magic in, a little more message, a little more magic, a little more message, and then boom, turn them over to the sales reps where they can close, or at least collect the badge scans to close later. Okay. You have your work to do too. So, if I capture a bunch of leads for you and your sales force isn't up to speed in place and ready to talk with these people and capture the leads and badge scan them, it's all going to be wasted. Catch can advertisers dislike this kind of ruthless accountability, but I think we all have to be on board. I want to be part of your trade show team, really, going in to make this work for you the way you want it to. And if you have the sales reps at the booth and the staff ready to close the leads that I throw them, we're ready. Of course, if you don't put the leads into your database and follow up with them after until they buy, you're in trouble. So I think that takes care of most of the questions. If there's any more, get them in quick. Okay, that looks like that's just about it. So I really appreciate you all coming to the training today. I hope you got a lot out of it. I had a great time. It was great to get some of those questions and present this revolutionary type of approach to some of you who may not have thought out of the box before. And for those of you who stuck around to get the trade show checklist, I promise you, and my book of 25 event blunders and how to avoid them, just click that button up there on the right of your screen and we'll get that right out to you. Just simply click it and we'll have it sent to you. Hey, have a wonderful, wonderful trade show. Whatever you do, I would love to be a part of it. I would love to help you. But even if you just want to ask me some stuff, you can still click the button and talk with me. Thank you very, very much for being on the training. I'm Alexander Great, and have a great day.